never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer, fine.
Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. It is a Monday, so hopefully everybody enjoyed their weekend. Not only is it a Monday, it's also back to school week for most people. Most of the kids go back to school sometime this week, depending on what school district you're in. I know there is one school that goes back to school today, and we are still in the month of July for one more day. If you were not at the Ultimate Wrestling Federation yesterday afternoon, you missed an incredible show. We'll talk about that coming up later on this week. And of course, last night was also the NXT Great American Bash. We'll talk about that coming up later on this week. But today, I want to talk some college football and I also want to talk some NASCAR. We'll start off in the NASCAR world. Yesterday, we raced from Richmond International Speedway. And it's funny because I guess you can call this race whatever you want to call it. But if you watch the highlights and even go back and watch some of the interviews from the drivers from Friday and Saturday leading up to the race yesterday, in the background it said Cookout 400. And of course we know Cookout is now a chain restaurant. But if you go to NASCAR.com, it says the race was called the Federated Auto Parts 400. So we'll call it the Cookout Federated Auto Parts 400. And it was won by Chris Buescher. Now he is the 13th different driver to win a race this year. That's his third career win and his first win since 2016. And I believe that win came at Pocono. Of course, he drives the number 17 for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. When Brad Keselowski signed with, at the time, Roush Fenway Racing before last year started, everybody thought he was crazy, including me, because honestly, the whole Roush organization has struggled ever since Mark Martin left years and years ago. And last year, Roush Fenway Keselowski struggled big time. But this year, Chris Buescher was probably, more than likely, going to make the playoffs because he had enough points to get in. But this win yesterday puts him in, and his teammate in the 6th car, Brad Keselowski, is probably going to get in on points if he doesn't win between now and September. So the Roush Fenway Keselowski camp is certainly improving from where they've been the last 10 years. So Chris Buescher wins the race, followed by Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, and Ryan Preece. And then we had the aforementioned Brad Keselowski come home 6th, Martin Truex Jr. 7th, Eric Almirola 8th, Austin Dillon 9th, and Kevin Harvick 10th. So we finally had a good day for Stewart-Haas Racing. Stewart-Haas used to be one of the best teams in NASCAR, but ever since Kevin Harvick had that season where he won 9 races, for whatever reason, Stewart-Haas has just gone backwards. But they finally have a good day yesterday with 3 drivers finishing inside the top 10, with Ryan Preece 5th, Eric Almirola 8th, and Kevin Harvick finishing in 10th. We are getting ever so much closer to the beginning of the NASCAR playoffs. Of course, they start in September. Back in action this Sunday at 2:30 from Michigan. It'll be the Fire Keepers Casino 400 at 2:30 on the USA Network. And as always, we have some college football talk as far as conference expansion and all that. I'm sure everybody's heard by now, but it was announced last week that Colorado is going to the Big 12 starting next year. Of course, Colorado used to be in the Big 12 and they left to go to the Pac-12. Now they're leaving the Pac-12 to go back to the Big 12. And then yesterday there was a rumor that came out that said the Big 10 is supposedly going to announce sometime this week that they're adding Clemson and Florida State from the ACC and Oregon and Washington from the Pac-12 to the Big 10 starting next season. Now again, as I said, that's just a rumor right now. There's no merit behind that it's true, but it is a rumor that the Big 10 is going to announce this week that they're adding Clemson, Florida State, Oregon, and Washington. And as I've mentioned before, it continues to look like we're heading down the road where it's going to be the Big 10 and the SEC and every other conference is going to be pretty much non-existent, at least as far as the big-time programs. If Clemson and Florida State do leave the ACC, it's going to hurt the ACC big time. And I hope they have a backup plan because obviously when it comes to college football, those 2 teams carry the conference. And even though basketball does make some money, it doesn't make the money that football does. And the ACC just signed that huge contract through, I believe, 2035. So you need a backup plan and need one in a hurry if you do lose Clemson and Florida State. Everybody needs to react the way the Big 12 did because the Big 12 lost Oklahoma and Texas, and we see how many teams they've added to the Big 12 this year, and now they're adding Colorado next year. And the new Big 12 commissioner just came out the other day when he was talking about Colorado, and all he said was, they're back. And that's all you need to say. But for them to lose Oklahoma and Texas and to instantly add all these teams, they had a backup plan. And that's what you need. The Pac-12 needs one desperately because if they don't get a backup plan and get one in a hurry, we're not going to have any relevant football past Colorado. Because you've already lost UCLA, you've already lost USC, you've already lost Colorado. Now if you lose Oregon and Washington, the only good team left in the Pac-12 is Utah. And Utah cannot carry that conference by themselves. So hopefully the Pac-12 has a backup plan, or it's pretty much going to be non-existent if this rumor is true that Oregon and Washington are going to the Big 10 this week, and it's going to be announced this week. I don't like any of this, even though I'm not old by any stretch of the imagination. I'm old school. I'm sorry. I like territory college football. I enjoy getting up on Saturdays and seeing Georgia play South Carolina. I enjoy seeing Clemson play Virginia. I enjoy seeing Iowa play Illinois. I enjoy seeing Oklahoma play Texas. That's college football. Getting up on Saturday and seeing Clemson play Rutgers is not college football. But things change. You either have to adapt or stop watching it, because things aren't going to stay the same forever. Any thoughts on any of this? Please feel free to let me know. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the 2004 inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at hfotusa.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Did you know all green garden gnomes have red hats? No idea why, but it is a little gnome fact. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.